What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ocean and this is Ocean Therapy. I am so excited to share this video with you. Recently, a lot of people have been asking on my other social media platforms, basically, why in the world would you leave your work from home job? I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Honestly, there are a couple of reasons why I decided to leave my job working from home in the comfort of my home. I'm gonna go through them in this video. Truthfully, it is a great experience to be able to work from home, and I'm so appreciative of the opportunity to get to work from home. But the truth of the matter is, regardless if you work from home or you work in the office, it's important to find a job that really fits what it is that you want. First reason I decided to leave my work from home job is because I was going crazy. And I know a lot of people are glad to work from home and it is amazing for them, especially if you have younger kids that aren't in school and things like that. But for me, I am more extrovert. I am very much an outside person, and if I stay in one place for too long, I go a little crazy. And that would have been my previous employer, it would have been a full year that I'd been at the job. I think in March of 2023, it would have been a full year, and I was losing it. I worked from home. Everything I did was at home, like everything. I would go from my desk to my living room to my room, and it just became really monotonous. And I started noticing that I wasn't caring about what I looked like or what I was doing because I was working from home. I was home all day, every day, which was a little bit, it just drove me crazy a little bit. Not even gonna lie. Number two, the second reason I decided to really take a look at the work from home is because I didn't necessarily feel like the company that I was working for was the best fit. There was nothing wrong with the company per se. It's just that I feel that I was not working in a very conducive and open situation. I think that it started to play with me and my mental and my anxiety because it was very numbers heavy and produce this much amount, and if we don't see it, this is what'll happen. We're not threatening you, but this is the number that we need to see. The training was an extensive, long period of time, and it was for something that really wasn't my career path. So my career path was HR, but the job itself was more on the benefit side of HR, which was like FMLA, leave processing, virtually like a call center, like how a call center holds you accountable for the amount of calls that you receive. This job held you accountable for the amount of processing that you did. The job and the company itself wasn't bad. It was just really the fact that I do not like numbers heavy jobs. Like, if you want me to reach a certain quota amount of numbers, and that's all my employment is based off of, it really doesn't resonate with me. It's like people are numbers and not actual people. And it's so many people that this company services for. It's like virtually it's just so impersonal, it's just not really a connection there. It's not really it's just driven by numbers, and I can't really identify with a career like that, and I can never see myself just staying in a position that was just so numbers focused and that it was monotonous, like over and over again, and very tedious. And every time you would think you were doing one thing correctly, you would find out that there was another way to do it, or another way to do it, or another way to do it, or another way. It was no baseline. The third reason I decided to walk away from my work from home position was also the fact that the experience with that company, or I'm just going to try to say it without saying it, basically, it wasn't the nicest. from the beginning, it was not very much a nice, warm welcome. And when my concerns were brought up about the fact that the welcome wasn't as warm as I thought it would be, and people weren't as nice as I thought they should be, or I won't say nice because I don't need you to be nice to me, but I at least need you to be professional in the way that you communicate with me. People weren't as professional as I thought it should be, as I felt like the standard should have been. And it already out the gate put a bad taste in my mouth. And only snowballed further as it continued, where there was lack of communication. There was a lot of communication, but it was a lot of communication about the numbers, right? But it was a lack of communication when it came to like performance in a totality aspect. They communicated every day about your amount of numbers that you process, but not really like with you as an employee and with you as a part of the company, if that makes sense. It was a lot of unnecessary communication rather than what I felt like was important communication. The fourth reason I decided that maybe it's okay to leave this work from home job was the fact that I really did not have somewhere to work. I was working at a desk in my living room. I tried for a while to work in my garage. My garage, of course, in the winter gets super cold, and in the summer it gets super hot. And there is no window, so even adding an air conditioning wasn't conducive. And any of the air conditioners that we tried to find, like on Home Depot and stuff like that, were like $600 and $700. When my reason number 5 will be the reason why my next reason for why I left will clear up why I felt like that was too expensive. But I tried to work from different areas in the house and nothing worked. It kept being the same thing, like being monotonous, working in the living room, and then you go on break and you're right there in your living room, and it was just, it was not for me in that aspect. I really had nowhere to really concentrate on my work where I could close the door and work. You know, there was no separation of life and work. The other reason I decided to leave the job is because the compensation wasn't really that high. I don't know if it was the market or if it was the level of respect with the company for the people who do this processing, but it was pretty low for the amount being paid. And I get it, we work from home, you don't have to pay an office building. I get it, but it was actually lower than my previous employer, so I was actually taking a little bit of a cut, and it was not conducive for me. It didn't really feel like my money stretched far enough. And that's one thing I've always noticed about any work from home jobs I've applied to, right? I noticed that work from home jobs tend to pay a little bit less than they could, just because I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but I feel like it has something to do with the fact that like you're home, so it doesn't cost you to go and buy food. I mean, it doesn't cost you to eat out or gas or commuting. So that's just what I feel. But it typically is a little bit shorter pay than I would like. And lastly, the last reason, and I feel like the straw that broke the camel's back, was the fact that the manager that I had was not the nicest. And it almost felt like super sneaky. You can tell someone's intentions, and it was just not good. I could tell that it wasn't going to be a good fit, because you know how when someone tells you something and you off gate are like, I don't really believe you and the things that you're saying. And those suspicions came to light when the manager brought up some issues with me with HR that had never been discussed with me. Concerns, comments, questions about what I was doing with my work, never once discussed with me in the 8 months of employment. And then all of a sudden it was like in front of HR. And I feel like that was really inappropriate because as an employee, as a manager, you should be able to talk to each other and communicate openly and honestly. And I am not one to be like, oh, I can't handle criticism or communication about the workload that I do. I don't take it personally because my value is not placed into the position that I hold. But what I will say is that if you kind of try to do it sly and go behind my back to make it seem as if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing when you never even brought it to me in the first place, that's when we have a problem. And it was at that point that I really decided that the level of respect was not there for me to continue to work at the job. My anxiety started to get really, really high because of the anticipation of having to deal with the idea that I'm being perceived as a person who doesn't do what they need to do, but I was never told I wasn't doing or meeting a specific level. And I'm okay to say that because I'm not a processing person. Like, I don't process, I'm not a numbers, like I gotta get 50 of these done a day. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm the kind of person that likes to build connections and talk to people and get to know people in person and know who they are and build those relationships and that rapport. And I feel like me stepping out of the HR realm into the benefits realm kind of put me in a box that I really wasn't supposed to be in the first place. So I decided to head on out and look for something else. I actually quit my job before I even knew if I had a job coming up, but content creation was always there. I still have social media management that I do for a couple businesses here in Charlotte. But all in all, I think the most important thing when you're trying to decide, like, is this job for me? Is this working for me? Is it worth giving up work from home? You have to decide what's best for you. And even if a job is work from home, it still might not be a good fit. There has been so much movement and trendiness surrounding getting a work from home job that I think a conversation that needs to be had, that even if it's a work from home job, you still have to make sure that company and that working environment is still good. And I think that when you say working environment, people envision an office space with people communicating, but no, it's virtually as well. You know, multiple emails, harassing emails in the amount that you're sending someone, calling every single day, or having to be on meetings every single day, surprise meetings virtually that are mandatory. You know, all of that, yes, helps build connection, but it also becomes almost like micromanaging, and it doesn't feel good to have to sit there and explain to and break it down to someone every single step of what you're doing throughout your day, when you should just have trust in your employees. And then if they're not performing, you know, let them go, because that is just what it is. But to you, if you work from home and you're really torn about like leaving the position and probably maybe not being able to find another work from home job, just know that it's going to be okay. And you're not an outsider if you decide to go back into the office or take a job that is in the office. I also forgot to mention the fact that the new job that I was going for at the time that I left that job is also because I received a significant increase. That is what it would have took for me to go to a in-office job. I felt like I needed something that was going to cover the commuting for going to the new job. I felt like that was fair. And all in all, I'm really happy with my choice as of far. Tomorrow is actually my first day, but I wanted to get this video out to you guys prior to me actually starting. And that's what we're gonna do. You know, if you like content like this, talking about work life, corporate life, home life, balancing it all, and really staying true to who you are outside of your employment, Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, follow my social media handles. And I really just appreciate you guys so much. And I wanted to also thank all of the new followers who joined. We finally hit 700. We've grown so much in the past like month and a half. And I can't wait for 1,000, 100,000 followers to join along. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.